First, I would like to thank Reverend Chami and the TCBA for inviting me to speak at this Twin Cities Sangha service. I would also like to acknowledge the team that leads the Twin Cities Sangha, the minister's assistants, Gail Wong and Deborah Ting, and a whole team that supports the Sangha led by Cheryl Suchia. Yeah, it has been like 52 years since I first uh, went to a Twin Cities service in September of 1973. Um, it's sort of a long history, but it's still a pleasure and honor to um, address you now on Zoom. So very wonderful. Anyway, thinking about what to talk about this morning, we look around the world and it's sort of a mixed up world. And we ask ourselves sometimes, why do I follow Buddhism? The political climate right now says to be different is to invite some kind of trouble. But we have to remember that we are all different. We are all different. It is just a matter of degree. We certainly cannot all be the same. Being a Buddhist does not make one better or worse than any other person. So we embrace being different and we go about sharing love and respect with others. We let the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha spread the message of peace and harmony. Even looking around at Buddhism, there are so many different forms of Buddhism today. There are so many different languages, so many different cultures. We often wonder how a celibate Sri Lankan monk, Theravada monk with flowing saffron robes, and then the meditative practices of Zen monks, and and the way, all the way to ordinary people like us, Shin Buddhists, who all can be considered Buddhist. First of all, and most basically, we all follow the three treasures, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And we have the core beliefs that are expressed in the sutras. But we all practice Buddhism differently on the surface. However, when one looks beyond the external expressions, everyone is still faced with the same human issues, regardless of coming from different religions or coming from different schools of Buddhism. We are all still faced with the same human issues in this world. And I am reminded of the last words of the historical Shakyamuni Buddha, who encouraged his disciples with his last breath to always seek the way or to seek the path of the Dharma. He reminded his disciples to be a lamp unto yourself. In other words, to always question and to always seek your own answers. Fast forward 2,600 years, and today the questions remain the same. What is the most asked question? Perhaps it has many forms, but basically it says, what happens after death? Or perhaps, what is the meaning of life? And questions like this. Of course, there is no single and concrete answer, and certainly no one knows for sure. No one has died and come back to tell us. Buddhism deals with this by not giving us any answers to any specific questions. Rather, there's a bigger answer, to the bigger question. And it is how we look at life and how we look at life itself. Life is temporary. And life and death is a cycle. We call this the oneness of all life. Life and death are just events in a larger cycle of life. And there are many ways to explain this oneness, the oneness of all life. There are long and complex explanations given by many great scholars, and I certainly cannot understand them all. But in a simple way, or to make things simple, I think of oneness as an ocean. The ocean is a large body of water. There are millions and billions and trillions of drops of water in the ocean. And there are waves on the ocean. There's movement. And each wave has a shape and a form which lasts only for a short period of time. When the wave comes up, we see it and we think it is separate from the ocean. The wave is like our life. We are born and we have a shape and a form for our lifetime, for a short period of time. And when the wave hits the shore, we no longer see it as a wave, but the wave and every other wave has always been part of the ocean. Some drops of water may become part of the next wave, or some of those drops of water might fall to the bottom of the ocean for years or centuries before being part of another wave. And each drop of water is interconnected with all the other drops of water that make up the ocean. It was us, as humans, who thought the wave was separate from the ocean, just like we think my life is separate from the oneness of all life. The reality is that the wave was always part of the ocean, just like our life is part of the oneness of all life. It is our ego, our image of ourself, that makes us think that we're separate from the oneness of all life. It is our ego, which is temporary, just like the wave. It only lasts for as long as we can see it. We only last as long as we are alive. The only thing that is real is the oneness of life, because we are part of a larger whole. All through our lives, we fight with ourselves. We cause all kinds of trouble for ourselves. We become selfish and self-centered. Our ego is trying to make my life better. And this is the duality of daily living. The duality of daily living. We try to label things as good or bad. We try to figure out what is right and wrong. And we end up causing so much suffering. This is why Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, explained the Four Noble Truths, that life is dukkha. Usually dukkha is translated as suffering. But it is our ego that causes all kinds of suffering. We think we need to build riches, or we need to have many things, to have a lot of stuff. But we have to remember, the hearse never pulls a U-Haul. The trailer does not follow us into the next life. You can't take it with you. Such a painful reminder. So where we come from before birth and where we go after death does not matter because we're all part of that one vast ocean. And all through life, we don't want to accept that we are a part of the ocean. Our ego is so strong that we like to think that I am special and that I am the center of the universe. Only when we can let go of our ego self that we can understand or begin to understand the meaning of oneness. As always, it is our ego self that causes all our problems and all our sufferings. Thus, we can say life is dukkha. In our lives, when we learn from painful experiences, I guess it makes sense because when times are good, we just expect it to continue. But when things go wrong and we are in pain or suffering, at least we can expect to let it go. But then that's when we learn something. Yes, we all have had many painful lessons in life. We also have to remember and learn from these lessons. No matter how smart you are, there's always someone smarter. And no matter how famous you are, there is someone more famous. And no matter how rich you are, there's always someone richer. So all things in this world change. They are temporary. So we come to the point, perhaps, what do we look to Buddhism for? And what does Shin Buddhism in particular teach us? Humility is what overcomes pride. Humility is what overcomes our ego. Being humble is what sets us free. It gives us the freedom to let go of our ego self. Expressing gratitude is what frees us from dukkha, the suffering caused by the endless three poisons, the three poisons of anger, greed, and ignorance. Kindness. Kindness is our guide in living in this troubled physical world with all the problems facing us. Let us be kind to each other, but also to remember to be kind to ourselves. We all need to find our place in life. We need to find our place in this world, and maybe we can fit in. But maybe we can make a difference. I think we all would like to think that we will leave the world in a better place than we found it. That is, we want to make a contribution to benefit this world. And we do this from starting from within ourselves to let go of our ego self. Let go of our ego. Let go of the three poisons. Let us find ways to express kindness. This is the way we can accept the wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha, the gift of the Nembutsu. Nam Amida Butsu, with gratitude and kindness beyond words.
Well, thank you, Reverend Ron.